Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the 10 Pounds of Podcast. We are back like we never left. And so we
Yes.
actually got a pretty great episode to cover. But first, of course, I'm going to be your guest host for this, Bill Vink. And my flanks to my left is going to be Jorge Martinez. How are you, my friend?
Yes, sir. Don't forget the muffins. Muffins in the house. Muffins Martinez is here. Yes,
And
sir.
and so before we get started, I want to recap how great the NWA 75 pay-per-view was. What an amazing pay-per-view. If you haven't watched, I definitely check it out. You can watch it for free anywhere, just like I did. If you know what to watch. But I did want to talk first about the presentation changes.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, what was your thoughts on them? Because
Well,
I don't know.
I loved it. I loved how Joe Galley came in, gave us that nice little speech at the beginning. I liked how the ring looks. I like the outer square stuff, the camera angles. The most important thing that I enjoyed and I went crazy was, oh my god, they finally added entrance music to the wrestlers to come out to the ring. They had not done any entrance music since Billy Corgan brought the company back, and that was back in 2017. So this is definitely a huge step. It looks kind of weird how the wrestlers come out with the entrance music, but and you don't hear no fans. But then they get into the ring, it's like a whole different scene then afterwards, like a little mini superhero entrance type deal thing just for them. But other than that, man, I loved it. I loved the whole presentation. Love how the same speed of the show. It never hit a bump. It just kept going like it always did. The interviews in the back, it just everything just made sense. It was perfect, bro. I was very, very, very impressed with what they did last night and now going forward. And I'm looking forward to this pay per view they mentioned in October. Because if that's how everything looks now moving forward, imagine how the pay per view is gonna look. So yeah, I
Yeah,
was very impressed.
yeah, I definitely. So from what I got, the presentation to me, camera wise, just looked phenomenal on this show. And as you said, the flow of the show was quite interestingly just fluid. I was very surprised because that's not really like an NWA show. There's kind of like normally gaps everywhere. So to see that there wasn't that for once was really, really smooth, really, really nice. It was a breath of fresh air, really. It really was. The entrances were a bit weird too for me. What it kind of reminded me of, if you've ever played Raw 2, it was for the original Xbox, and when you played uh the what do they call that, the matchup card screen, like that's kind of how it was. The guys were like kind of turn around. It was slow motiony. That's kind
Yes.
of how the NWA entrances felt. So it wasn't too weird for me. I think for most importantly, I think it was for them to just try to get the wrestlers, just try to get them familiar with having an entrance now, having to
Yes.
incorporate that. So having that slow motion type of thing allowed them to strike a pose or two, play off their character, have it slow motion on screen, and then move forward from there. So to me, it was pretty smooth. I do like the way that, they did that. It felt very, very video game like, and as a gamer,
Yes.
I definitely appreciated that.
And I think
Um,
this was like the first the first show. So I'm pretty sure in the future they'll tweak some stuff around.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think for them right now, it's just like trial and error for sure. So they're gonna find out what works, what doesn't work, get rid of it, improve it, change it. Um,
Yep.
let's go on to the first match, which again, it's gonna be for the NWA Women's World TV Championship. Max the Impaler, the champion, takes on Taylor Ryzin. The same thing I said about NWA 75. Whatever. Eh.
Hey, it did what it was supposed to do. It makes Maxine Taylor look like a monster that she is. Basically, that's what it was. It was a squash match that went too long. It
Mhm.
should have been. I think it should have got done in maybe under a minute. It took almost 3, maybe only 4 minutes to finish the match, and it was a complete lopsided victory for Max the Impaler. But it did that shows her that, or well, I can't even say her because non-binary. So it shows it. I don't know if that's the right phrase I'm supposed to use. Okay, I'm sorry. They show they can be destructive and they will be a force to be reckoned with in the near future. I believe that it probably might take a male wrestler to beat her for that TV title, like the China days and stuff like that, because they look like they could go against anybody there, male or female, and destroy whoever gets in front of them. So
yeah, I said Max the Impaler, of course, won. And what I did like, what I seem to really appreciate with NWA is they don't waste time into like putting potential storylines in place. Like as soon as that match was over, she was going to close on her again, and Natalia Markova, who we haven't seen since night 1 of NWA 75, comes out, and apparently we're probably setting up for a program between Markova and Max the Impaler. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Max the Impaler goes all the way to 7 and then has to actually face Natalia Markova. I think that's what they're probably going to do. That's what I would do, because if that's one of her greatest rivals, I think that is that right there is a match where it's at the end of that that number 7.
And
so
I believe,
for me,
I believe out of all the females they have on the roster, I think Natalia Markova might be the one, other than Camille, that could stand up power wise, size wise, speed wise against Max the Impaler. So yeah, so most likely this will be the storyline heading forward, is Markova against Max at the pay-per-view coming up in October. So it's still a long way to go,
and that
but
would play in
it
time.
looks like to be.
Well, if you think about it right now, that would play in time. It gives Max Impaler not to have to be on TV every single week, so she can hold that title just a little bit longer, and then have that 7. And then if she wins at Sawand, then hey, but I think Markova versus Impaler is the match to make for that pay-per-view. And I think they should have her run through the rest of them until she has to go against Markova.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I would do if I was Billy Corgan.
Yeah. If Camille is definitely gone, and you don't find someone else to, someone that's powerful enough to take her space or spot in the roster, then Markova will definitely be the one to challenge Max for the title.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. Next up, we had BFT, their tape review promo thing. Honestly, I kind of laughed at this. Realistically, like looking at this BFT group, I realized that Aaron Stevens is going to really have to carry them promo wise, and all these guys are going to do is do great in the ring, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you can make the comparison to Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Heyman did that for Brock for years, until Brock finally decided to speak. Sister Sherry did that for countless people. Not trying to put
was one of them.
Yeah, not trying to put like Aaron Stevens up there with those two greats, but I'm saying like the idea, the easiest comparison I could make is in that role where he really has to carry them charismatically, because I don't think Bunt Force Sharma has any personality in them besides Aaron Stevens. And I personally liked the promo. It was short, but it was funny. It was entertaining. And, it really made sense of how delusional Aaron Stevens truly is. And that these Blunt Force Drama guys just like, yep, we're here. We're champs. That's what we do.
I just want to say one thing about that promo, and not even about the promo. I just want to say Sam Leterna is there now. I don't know what happened to Myra Gomez, the Lawler girl, May Valentine. I don't know if she's going to be out for a while from the NWA, but Sam Leterna looked amazing. Her makeup was on point. I was like, wow, is that Sam Leterna? And I was like, holy shit, I see Sam Leterna now jumping around and NWA, Hog, MLW. So she's getting herself out there being noticed. So it was a difference of experience between Mid Valentine and Sam Leterna, so You could see the difference on the whole show episode, everything. They went new with things. Even the announcers from Team Storm and Velvet Sky went to just right there to see her. So yeah,
Hmm.
just wanted to put that out there. That Sam gonna look good.
Yeah, so do me a favor on editing, edit out 10 13
Yeah,
to 10 30 33.
yeah.
But no, yeah, I definitely I can see where we're coming from with that one, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it was a new feel. I did like the commentary team for this one. It didn't feel dry and it didn't feel old. No, like, no offense to anyone out there who liked the old commentary team, but definitely not my cup of tea. I really like this one a lot better. So with that being
Like
said,
Danny Diaz is funny. I like him.
I'd say I don't know who that guy is. I didn't know who he was until NWA 75.
Yeah.
Because I remember I didn't touch NWA. I was like, oh, what is this? So having a fresh take on it and having a great pay per view and a good show so far, it's definitely going to bring me back for next week's show. But next we had the Immortals with the one guy I do like, the Odinson dude. I really do like that guy. Just pretty freaking cool name and just looks like a fucking like a Viking,
Yes. Yes.
And they take on the Outrunners. Now, this match was a one-sided ass whooping.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but I was here for it. The Immortals wound up winning, and that's all I cared about. So, what are your thoughts?
Well, the Outrunners, the OVW Tag Team Champions, under there with Al Snow's company, came in there funny. They did their job. They looked good. I'm still not a fan of Kratos, but Odinson, dude, like I mentioned before, that's my selected player when it comes to anybody that I will build. It'll be Odinson, and that finishing maneuver, pick him up, and then he does the flying European uppercut to the back of the head. Dude, this dude does so many different variations of the European uppercut is crazy. But that finishing maneuver is amazing. Now, whichever title they want to go after, the US tag team or the NWA titles, they'll be the next ones who should definitely win those titles.
Absolutely. So after that, we had the return of Zicky Dice.
Yes.
Zicky Dice, the outlandish one, is back.
The new NWA TV champion.
Yeah, the uncrowned, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, uncrowned.
So basically, this was a really great promo.
Yeah.
I really like this. It's set up 2 4-way matches next week,
Yes.
and then there will be after that the 2 winners of that will go on to face each other, and then the winner will get a shot at apparently the NWA TV title.
Thomas Lattimore.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting there, and that's even more interesting because of what happens later on in the night, which we'll get to that shortly, because it was kind of confusing because it's like, well, is the TV title going to be dropped? Is it not going to be dropped? What's happening here? So some things didn't make sense to me with this promo, but it was outlandish and it did the job. Welcome back, Zicky Dice. After that, we had Pretty Empowered, also cutting, in my opinion, a great promo. The 3 of them there as champs was great. Realistically, I think this promo really sold me on it because it did one of 2 things. It basically... The promo wasn't just about Pretty Empowered. The promo was more so about trying to take the NWA to new heights with them as champion. So to me, this really solidified the future of the women's division and how strong it really is, and that the NWA is going to expand on this and put them at the forefront, which is something you really don't see nowadays in any company. So for me, I really liked this promo because it not only put over Pretty Empowered, but they Pretty Empowered put over the NWA and the entire women's division, while also simultaneously dumping on them at the same time.
There's still one girl missing, Roxy, from the group. I don't know what happened to her. So she was there before the pay-per-view, and I haven't seen her since. So I'm hoping she's still in as part of the group or part of the NWA. But yeah. Because usually it's 4 girls. Usually it's a team of 4. So
So, what were your thoughts on Pretty Empowered's promo?
Oh, I've loved Pretty Empowered since the first time it started. Started with Ellie Enva and one of the Page sisters, and through the whole thing, Ellie Enva tried to get her to turn more savage, more heel. She never wanted to do it till she finally did months later. Because of that, they got to win the first time the tag team titles for the first time, and then they brought in Roxy, and then now they brought in Kenzie Page's little sister now. So through just that whole thing from like 3 years ago to this point now, you seeing the leaps and boundaries in them. I mean their confidence, the way they talk on the mic. Now they're champions again, all three of them. So they basically are ruling the NWA women's section. So if
Mhm.
Roxy comes back and they're able to get the title of Max the Impaler, then that means Pretty Empowered will have all the gold in their fold, just like the Four Horsemen. So yeah, so
Yeah, and that
one
could
thing that
really be a real
yes,
problem for the
yes,
NWA.
and what I love about the NWA, they have so many young stars, man, that it's what you like about them. Is they have young people that you might have never heard of, but they are here busting their
Mhm.
asses, making a name for themselves. And that's what I love about the NWA is that is a lot of young people, and that's what you want in your company is young stallion horses that are going to go there and do the extra mile and be there for a long time and build the company.
Absolutely.
So I'm all in
With that being said,
for Pretty Empower. I'm all in.
next up was Brady Pierce versus Rolando Freeman. This
I
was
hate that dude.
the only match I think.
I just like
Which
that
one?
guy, the little one,
Wait, who? Oh,
Freeman.
Freeman.
Yeah, reminds
Well, I
me of
guess you
of
were
a
happy.
reminds me of a mini chef. It's like the same
Who?
size. Rolando Freeman, the hair, the height reminds me of Chef. The same hair, the same height.
Chet? Who's Chet?
Chef.
Oh, oh,
Boricua
oh! I was like,
Tondara
who the
guy.
hell is
Ah, yeah,
Chet?
Chef. Yes, reminds me of him. That's why I don't like him. It's like the same height. They're the same height, the same hair, and everything.
Okay,
That's why I don't like him.
alrighty. Um,
Let him know.
but anyway, Brady Pierce won, and
Yes, which
I
there
guess we'll
shouldn't
move
be
on.
no surprise.
Yeah. So next up, we had backstage Koa Laxamania. I don't even care if I said that right. With the
Yeah,
Callie's girl, whatever.
yeah, his wife. Yep.
I didn't care
Callie.
for the I didn't care for the promo. I really didn't. But what I do like about the promo is that it set up an interesting tag team match next week
Yeah,
as Joe Alonso, who just got his ass whipped by Homicide, will have to team up with that same individual
yep,
against Colby Carino
yep.
and Laxamana or whatever his name is.
Well, the funny
So
thing is, remember, Joe Alonso got his ass kicked by Homicide, but he won because he picked up the win with a quick turnaround 1, 2, 3, and he was out of the ring. So
yeah, that's gonna be a battle of egos on
yeah,
the
well,
side of Homicide and Joe Alonso. I don't think they're gonna win. Put it that way.
I think Homicide is just gonna turn around, just beat the shit out of Alonso, and just leave him there and walk out.
Probably. I don't
That's what
even
I'm
think
hoping
that
happen.
Carino and
Yeah,
wow, bloodthirsty much, huh?
yeah, I'm just saying.
Next up, it's going to be EC3. His promo, the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Sorry if I just spoiled that for anybody, but yes, the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the holder of the 10 pounds of gold.
Yes.
His new era promo was cool. it was decent for what it was. He definitely didn't have the best promo of the night, if I'm being honest.
I don't get the
I
attire.
honestly, I ignored it. I didn't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, it looked like he was dressed like a Greek, he looked like Maxim used to look down in TNA. All he needed was just the helmet to come out. I was waiting for him to actually put a helmet on top of the desk while he was talking, like Maximus used to look back. Yeah, that's what I was looking. I'm like, why is he look like a Greek guy with like one of those Trojan soldiers back then? I'm like, that made no sense to me whatsoever.
You just kind of threw me off there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Anyway, to kind of sum it up, because I didn't really care for the promo, it was interesting because it set up a promo with Tom Latimer. You're calling out the TV champion. So I was cool with that, but here's the problem. Zicky Dice just had the promo earlier to where is the TV title going to be vacant by the time that singles match happens? And so so I there was that was the only hole I think in the show that I was like, well, wait a minute. Because now we've got to assume that the TV title is going to be vacant. We do know that Thomas Latimer said he was gonna cash it in, but we didn't know when. Exactly. So now the question is Tom Latimer going to cash it in next week for the Samhain pay-per-view? So he's going to get rid of it early, have it in, name the time, name the place, Samhain. That would make sense because the pay-per-view is very dark, and Tom Latimer's character I think is still kind of dark. So that would make sense to me. If not, then I have no idea what's going to happen. That's like the only plot hole I think that I found in that show.
Yeah.
Speaking
right there,
of,
but I wanted to say that right there has it. But also, if Camille, is she still in NWA or if she's gone? Does this mean that Thomas Latimer is also on his way out the door with Camille, since we know they're husband and wife? So that kind of struck me last night thinking about that too. Like, oh, is Latimer on his way out? So,
well, yeah, that actually is a good question too. But I don't see why. I don't know what company's going to sign him. Maybe Impact. Maybe MLW.
Impact could use anybody with their star power. Camille will take that women's division, make it better. Thomas Latimer will go back. I mean, they even saying CM Punk, Impact would love to get that guy, even though nobody else wants to touch him. So,
fair enough.
Like what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So,
yeah, no, honestly, that right there is pretty accurate, spot on. So then let's segue to the main event because we're talking about trash. Damn. I'm not saying. Hold on. Let me rephrase that. I'm not saying that the main event was trash, but the fixtures are trash.
Yeah, that whole match. Yeah.
Well, I actually liked the match. The fixers were trash, but Southern Six carried that match.
Oh God, yes. I think the Fixers LLC is more like what do you call those guys? Just like a gimmick tag team. They're just
they are a temporary fix.
Yes,
they're a temporary fix. No pun intended.
They make us laugh with their weird stuff, but yeah, Southern Six looked amazing in this match, like they should. So
yeah, no. No,
I was gonna say, well, and Kerry Morton, the dude keeps looking like a star every week. They give him a chance. He keeps looking like that one star that's just gonna blow up and take NWA with him to the top.
Well, here's my thing, and I think I said this at 75. When you have a guy who just lost the belt, picks up a big win against Matt Cardona, before that calling himself the face of NWA and the actual real world champion, and then wins against a guy like Matt Cardona. I hate Matt Cardona, I really do. But he still beat a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and that can't be understated. Like, it can't be underestimated, can't be undervalued, can't be overstated. It is what it is. So this kid has so much like
Potential.
charisma.
Yes.
Potential. Yep, there you go. Potential. Yeah. And they need to just put a rocket up his ass and take it while they can.
Yeah. Yes.
This overman stuff, it may not last very long if Kerry Morton keeps doing what he's doing. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And
I
if they're
think what he's like
smart,
24 now, I think maybe 24, 25, maybe if. I know he's under 25. So I mean Jesus. Just wait till the next 10 years of him is gonna be amazing.
yeah. And if NWA is smart, you put a belt on him ASAP.
Well,
And
he
honestly,
just
you would.
lost the junior cruiserweight. Like, which title will he get though?
If he's truly calling himself the world heavyweight champion, you need to start putting him in that division.
Oh wow.
No, seriously, because the gimmick doesn't make sense to me if he's not in that division. Because you can't call yourself the face of NWA and face no one who's the face of NWA or coming close to it. Like you had your junior heavyweight title. Silas Mason has the TV title, right?
Well, no, he has another
so you can't do
national
that.
title.
But if you're gonna have him,
the TV title
is the national title, and that's not the 7 one. It's the TV title. So then next week in in one of those 4 ways, he needs to be in that match. He doesn't have to win. If they're smart, they have him win the 4-way match. He loses to Zicky Dice, or whoever's going to win the other one. But you at least have it in the fans' minds. He's up there with the heavyweights. Like he's graduated from being a junior heavyweight. That is really, in my opinion, what I felt like we saw when he went on night 2. He graduated from being a junior heavyweight. He beat Matt Cardona, a heavyweight champion, and now he's going to be ready to deal with the heavyweights. So, in my opinion, that is what you do.
The TV title is there. The national title is, is Trill Bill Silas title, and then the heavyweight title.
Yeah, and for me, that's what you do.
Yeah.
That's where if you want to make him a star, you do that.
But we'll see what Billy Corgan decides to do with him, because right now he's definitely could be the breakout star, or is already the breakout star of NWA.
Oh, by far he is. Him and Carino are like when I said before when we covered 75. Right now, the NWA showcased one thing, that the future is now. And they need to start really putting that out there. 75 was a great way to show us that. Now we've got to see that come to fruition. I know it's just the first show of the new season, but I look forward to next week's episode and the episodes in the coming time, because the future is now for NWA and they need to capitalize. This, if they're going to call us the lightning era, the thunder era, whatever the hell they want to call it, then great. The future's now. Strike lightning while it's hot. Let's go.
Are they still having the NWA USA show or no? That was on Saturdays.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I guess we'll find out. When does that normally air?
A Saturday around, like, I think either 1 or 2, between 12 and 1, something like that, I think. But I don't know. So I don't know if they're still doing that or not. I gotta find out this weekend and see if they're still doing it or not.
Oh, perfect. Because if they do that, we can cover that next week. But no, folks, for my good friend here, Jorge Martinez Muffins, and myself, I think we've covered everything. I will give this NWA show, for me, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I had really no issues with it.
I would go with a 3.
You go with the 3? Okay, that's fair.
The Rolando Freeman match, and then the main event with those fixtures, I don't know.
Well, for me, honestly, because the Southern 6 carried so hard, it did look like a good match, which is why I kept it at a 4. Rolando Freeman and Brady Pierce did what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to close the chapter and a new and a new story for Brady Pierce. So that's why I gave it a 4. Like, everything to me story-wise made sense on this show. And even for the match that I didn't like, which was the opener, there was still a story behind it. So I wasn't going to dock points for it, because there was purpose and there was intent. It wasn't just a throwaway match for me. And so that's why I gave it a 4, because of the presentation, the fluidity of the show was impeccable, and the matches to me were great. So I couldn't hate on it.
I'll go up half a point then to 3.5.
Yeah, Again, 3.5 for you, 4 for me. And normally it's the other way around that you're normally
You
higher on.
convinced me. You convinced me to give it that extra half a point. So
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, to me, 4 out of 5. And for this being an opener, know that openers for seasons or for in wrestling aren't always the strongest show. This was a pretty good opener in standards. And again, I'm not holding NWA to any other company because everyone has their own different
yes,
presentation style. And it was a bit older, so for me, my audience, the retention has to be in the ring, and that's what I like. Which is probably why I gave it such a high rating too. The in-ring work was great.
Yes.
So with that being said, we have talked you guys' ear off for almost a half an hour. So please do, folks, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to Urban Wrestling Network for myself and for Muffins over here. We are going to go subscribe to the Urban Wrestling Network. Peace out, everybody.